Hey everyone, Fatty from Pack a Punch Traders here. Gonna go over my week, just overview on it, any lessons, as well as the top plays for tomorrow, March 20th. So let's get right into this. Here we got my trades. Not too bad of a week. Definitely made up my loss. Now we're back green on the month, so very nice to see that. Just a few solid days, just taking my snipes. I did size up a bit this week, and we'll go over that as well. But yeah, after this nasty loss last week, decided to just take some time. Um, Came back to a loss, but nothing serious. Managed it, but accepted the loss. I just mistimed the play, AIMD right here. I was getting it as an open price VWAP reclaim here, as it looked like it was holding up. But then I got stopped out right as it broke here. It held just half a penny below. I got stopped out, and then it just ended up giving us the rip. So wasn't too mad about that. I gave it the shot at least. Um, but yeah, after that, it was really just taking quick snipes on familiar plays. We had TRKA, this one multi-day bounce. We got the failure to break down, and this one I approached probably very well, I would actually say in hindsight. I took a quick starter here in the morning as it was breaking over that day high in the morning, as we always talk about when it fails to push lower. We got weaker selling pressure compared to the past few days where it was fading, and in the morning you got heavy selling. In this case, it had 1 minute of all right selling, but after that, it was just a lot of demand coming through. So I thought that it is starting to reverse, so I took a quick not snipe, entry here, and I ended up adding as it was holding VWAP and the red to green area as well as the high in the morning, 0.204. And from there, it was just being patient and playing the momentum. I sold a bit too soon, but at the same time, it was getting a bit vertical. Sold right at 25 pretty much, less than a penny below it, or excuse me, tenth of a penny below, 24935. So very good sell, I would say. Was very patient with this play, had some exercise on it, and really I just look back at the past few months. Besides this one loss here, I have managed my losses very well, and I just thought I've had some consistency to start the year, and why not slowly size up a little bit and make some more money? I'm not trying to go for home runs and let them ride. Just they'll take 10-15%, but with maybe $1,000-$2,000 more to my position. I usually put for the first 2 months $1,500 roughly dollars each position. Um, but I think now is a good time to start sizing up. I have the confidence. I'm familiar with the plays. I know how they move, and I manage my risk very well. So even though I did take this one loss, I am okay with starting to size up right now. So that's really what it comes down to, at least for me. Just being comfortable with the market, how I am trading, and just slowly sizing up from there. I'm not going heavy at first. I will take in a small starter still, maybe $700 or so, maybe 1,000, but for sure no more than 1,000. Um, and then when I see what I really want to see, the play holding up, not dipping much, and if it is light selling pressure, we got strong demand, we're getting higher lows, just everything lining up here. As we can see, we'll use this as an example. Um, what was my entry here? I believe I had 5,000 shares, if I remember correctly, on this entry here for a starter. And once I saw that this was holding up, confirming the higher low, red to green level, just name it, just lining up our ducks in a row. All these bullish indicators, I will take another stab at it. And at this rate here, as you can see, you're not going to be sticking to your initial risk level. So when this thing made a higher low, now my risk has changed. It's going to be up around 20 and a half instead of down around 19 and a half. So that will change as well. So I added in 13,000 shares to this thing to build up to an 18,000 share position. And that brought up my average to about 21.4. So at that point, I'd be losing a penny, just about 180 bucks for a solid pattern. I will accept that because I know more times than not, when the play works out and I have some decent size, I will make up that $180 loss every single time. So I'm okay with taking the loss if it were to happen. So I sized up, and from there it was just riding the momentum. And once I was up about 10-15%, decided let's lock it in. And that's what led to my big gain this week, 636 on this play. Just under $4,000 on the position, 16.5% gain. So that one worked out very nice, brought back my confidence some more as well. So that's really how I'm approaching it right now. I have yet to really size up big time where I'm putting $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 plus in a position, but going just from step 1 to step 2 here, just from a couple $1,000 into a position to building up to double that pretty much. I'm still approaching with a starter, small size, but when I see what I like, I will smack it heavy. And of course, with that, I will adjust how much I put in, of course, based off what my risk level will be. So in this case, I was able to put 13,000 more shares because if it were to bring me up to the 21 area, I'm okay with that because my risk level moved up to 20 and a half. But yeah, so I'll definitely be going more in depth with sizing up and how I approach it as I continue to build on it. It was just the first week here that I slowly sized up. But the root of it really is confidence and comfort with the market and how I'm approaching the market. I know I do tend to get emotional at times, not tend to. But I'm okay with that more times than not. Overall, I am managing my risk and emotions pretty well, so I am not concerned about sizing up a bit. I know I will cut my loss if it doesn't go my way and not be emotional and add to it and just make a mess out of sizing up and being emotional. So I look back at the past couple months, I see I'm doing pretty well. I check off all the boxes that I want to check, and yeah, just slowly size up. And it really comes with the adding. The initial starter, I will still keep it pretty small, but when I see something I really like, I will go heavy at the end, and then yeah, just ride the wave. And if it doesn't work out, you'll likely have a new risk level as the play develops, makes higher lows. You're not going to stick to the initial one. So I'll make more in-depth videos later on, but good start going over that. So I think that took up a bunch of time. Let's get into the top plays for tomorrow. But yeah, here we are. Just to review this, couple multi-day bounces, and then HSTO. Actually, I did not go over this. I didn't post about this. I forgot to. But with this one, just have a VWAP, open price, hold, and reclaim, as well as at 127, we have a breakout level. It's a low floater, low market cap play, was doing insane volume, holding up nicely. So I gave it a shot here, and this is what we look for. You got the solid burst with some decent demand behind it. We got some selling pressure in this case here, but it slows down, and then we start seeing a lot more buying come through. This selling pressure didn't break the play, so when it starts reclaiming and we start seeing some demand, in my mind, I'm thinking we're about to confirm the breakout level. These short sellers aren't able to break this play down, so let's give this a shot. And then it consolidates for a bit. It's a little choppy. We don't see that much selling coming through, so in my eyes, I'm thinking these shorts are about to get squeezed, and that is exactly what happened. So was just seeing the lack of selling pressure, combining that with the price level where it's at, holding VWAP right around the 127 breakout level, stacking these patterns together. I thought I had a good chance of seeing a test of the 160s, which was the next resistance area. But of course, when this thing starts going vertical, I want to sell. So I do miss out on this initial one where it goes from the 130s to the 150s really quick. 120s to 150s rather. And that I did add on this 1 minute where I did see a bit of a volume perk. So that brought me up to an average of 128. I only had, what was it? 500 shares right here at 125. And then when I saw this thing was holding and a little bit of volume started coming back after this continued to hold VWAP, make higher lows, and we see selling pressure fade and fade. I attack it with 1,500 shares, build up my position at 2,000 shares, risking off of 122 here. If it starts breaking VWAP, I'll likely be done. We do have the low ones where it can hold up, double bottom, and then come back, but that would be too far for me, in my opinion. I didn't want to risk that much at that moment, so I thought I'm going to be having an average of about 128. If it starts cracking 120, 121 in this area, I'll just cut it and then play it later on if it works out. But yeah, so I missed this initial run up, the sell, and then I did not want to sell into weakness. I felt myself being emotional, so I decided let's not sell out of frustration and just trust the play. If it comes back, we take a very small loss, and if it works out, we get to sell back near the 150s, and that's exactly what happened. We got lighter selling pressure, continues to hold the 130s. That morning high, as you can see, confirmed it, and that led to another leg up. And as it was getting choppy right below 150, I was thinking whole dollar, half dollar level, key level psychologically, getting a little choppy. We did get a little bit of perk and demand, but it was choppy. So I thought this could be the end, and I gave up a little bit. There was a little bit more to be had, to be taken, but I'll take my quick gains, locking this from 128 to 147 with 2,000 shares. But yeah, so not to make this any longer, let's just get into the plays for tomorrow. We got AIMD. So this thing, going to be looking for a multi-day bounce on it. We have an incredible push from 70 cents to 180. And now with a decent red day, I would have liked to see more volume behind it, but I think this has more to go lower. So give this some time. Maybe tomorrow it is the day where it does want to hold. So we'll keep it on watch. But from now on, since we do have the first red day and shorts are going to be in control from here on out, if it pushes lower, let it fade. But keep on looking for the failure to break down, just like TRKA. Well, I was looking for a difference in volume, how much selling pressure is coming in the morning compared to previous days. Is the demand strong? Is this reclaiming new highs, or is it pushing to new lows? Here, as you can see, we got a quick dip lower into the 19s, but it held, and we saw demand come back. And once it started pushing back above VWAP and that new pushing for a new high, that led to a quick 10% angle right around that. And it failed to break down again, and that gave us another move. But this is what we're looking for. Oops. And this is what we're looking for. That failure to break down and come back. Sometimes it's not so quick. Sometimes it will push lower a little bit, and then maybe after an hour, it starts coming back, and then we're looking for that high day break. So, yeah, I'm making this video way too long. So AIMD, just looking for bottoming action, demand to really come back, start pushing to new highs, not use VWAP as resistance as it did on Friday. Just a difference in momentum in the way it's acting to trigger a possible momentum shift. So AIMD, same thing with THMO. We got a multi-day bounce here, going from, where did this even start? We'll call it low 2s all the way to 7.5. And it did have a little bit of a bounce here, but overall it finished red. Shorts are in control of this play right now. So if it needs to go lower, just let it do its thing. We're not trying to nail the bottom. We're going to be looking for the signal of a possible momentum shift, and that can lead to the reversal we're looking for. And here we are, just waiting for this to figure out what it wants to do. So don't try to force it if it wants to head lower. Just keep an eye on it if it wants to fade and fade. Sometimes they're not just going up, down, and then bouncing. They'll go up, down, fade or just consolidate for a few days, and then maybe in a week or so you end up getting a bounce. So there are variations to the multi-day bounce, but what we're looking for is the huge run up, get shorts involved, have them have their way with the play, let it fade, let it do its thing, and then when they're looking to lock in profits and dip buyers come back to the play, you'll see some bottoming action, and that will be the trigger for a possible bounce. Next up, CNTB. This one, a breakout over 140. I got here. Not too high of a float, but not low. Not a huge market cap either. So we got a breakout over 140. Next resistance is in the 170s, which is where it got to after hours before it started fading. And then after that, we got a next resistance in around 210. So here, let's see. We got a really nice push, and then we got a fade. If this thing fails to break down and makes the 140 region a support area, confirms that breakout level, and then ideally we'll have open price and VWAP reclaim hold to play off of as well. So we'll stack the patterns with the breakout and that open price play. But now that we had the push and we got a decent fade, we'll see how it acts in the morning. But ideally holds up, gets a little bit of volume, just gets shorts trapped into this thing, fails to break down, and that can lead to the move from the 140s, 150s, back to the 170s. And if there is enough demand, if it keeps pushing higher and the dips, consolidation periods don't have that much selling pressure behind them, it can lead to the next resistance in the 2s. So we'll take it one step at a time. If I do capture the play in the mid 1s to test the high 1s, I will take that and just let it do its thing after that. But if I do miss this play, I will keep in mind, if the 170s hold up, fails to break down there, consolidates, give us a solid risk-reward ratio, or maybe let's not word it like that. If it gives us a tight risk, because honestly, the stock could do whatever it wants. The risk-reward ratio doesn't matter too much, but it just shows the range that it can have. So yeah, we're looking for that tight risk as well with the volume. We'll take it from the 170s to test the low twos if that's the case. EUDA, also a multi-day bounce, but the thing with this one is we're really waiting for volume to come back. We had some decent selling going on, but from there, volume just completely died. So I don't know if that will affect the play. Maybe it's that few days of consolidation I'm talking about. But usually I like to see a bit of volume even before the play really starts taking off. But still, holding up around 2 key level psychologically. Selling pressure has definitely faded. There's not really any volume at all. We'll see if we do get the volume tomorrow. Just looking for that failure to break down. Push over high a day. Solid demand behind it. We can get a push back into the mid twos. Maybe even, we got resistance. Of course, 2.5 will be a key level psychologically. After that, looking for the 270s, 280s. But decent bottoming action. I just really want to see more volume behind it. Lastly, HUBC. Okay, so here we had a breakout over the 270s for all-time high break. Ends up pushing into the low twos pre-market, and then doesn't really do much when the market opens up. But here we are, still holding up over the past week or so. We continue to make higher lows, and even though this did end up selling off a little bit at the end, ever since the morning, really it's been choppy, but it's overall just fading. But if we zoom out, we can see overall this is still uptrending, and it held the key level, held right around the morning morning lows, which is a whole dollar, half dollar level, and I just want to see if this can reclaim the 310 area and then continue to push on higher for all-time highs. So it will need a lot of volume. This isn't a low float play, as we can see, but we're reaching all-time highs. If this fails to get broken down, I can see shorts getting squeezed if it reclaims 3. So hope everyone had a great weekend and great week, because I haven't made a video lesson all week. I hope you learned something, made some money. Besides that, we'll catch you guys later. Just study up and just prepare for tomorrow. I know market right now, there's been a little bit more opportunity this past week compared to pretty much middle February until now. There is a little bit more action. We'll see what happens. But just take it a trade at a time. Just focus on your studying. If nothing is there, don't try to force anything. Just focus on the patterns and the psychology behind it and how to approach the market. Once you understand that, the money will follow. I used to get really greedy and just focus on the money.